Greetings, everyone. There was a time when each household was responsible for raising their own children. And I'm not saying that things didn't happen in some households that were not the best for the children growing up in that environment. But nowadays, I'm realizing that people are looking towards celebrity or certain people who have money to define the terms of how you raise your children. People don't have a mind of their own anymore. In fact, as long as you're wealthy or you're in the public space and you have large followers, you automatically get some kind of respect and autonomy as to how people should live their lives, including raising our children. And so you find people, when these celebrities come out and they have an expression, everybody runs with this expression and it becomes like Bible prophecy. Have you heard the new expression, gentle parenting? What does that mean? And then you ask yourself, when you look at the state of the world, the way things are now, you have to wonder, how useful are we today as adults? This generation, this young generation, they're smarter than the ones before, because you see, they're the ones, the children, even though adults are also giving them power, but children are now given the power to decide what goes on in the household. And children can speak to their parents anyhow. I cannot count the amount of times I've heard kids tell their parents to F off. And when they tell the parents this, you should hear these parents, oh, sweethearts, oh, darling, whatever it is you call your kids. Listen, I'm not from that world. I believe that children must have a voice. I believe children should be allowed to express themselves in an appropriate way, however. I believe that there are a lot of parents who don't listen to the young ones, and that is not correct. But at the same time, children require discipline, because the earth that we live in and the world that we live in, if we don't have discipline, we're going to have a lot of problem. That's why there is prison. So when I look and I see children raising their voice at their parents, speaking to their parents in some horrible ways, and they're being supported, and then parents are now told to gentle parent. You know what gentle parent means? Oh, just lower your voice. You're not allowed to yell at your children. Nobody says you should be physically abusing your children. I am not for that at all. But kids need firmness. They need a firm hand. You have to know who you are as a parent. And sometimes when you're trying to do the right thing to make sure that they don't fall into some ditch somewhere, you might not be liked. They might be very angry with you. And if you are the type of person who allow them to express themselves or allow them to put their feelings in their diary that you purchased them, you'll find that they'll call you a lot of names. They'll be very angry with you. But you're doing the right thing. So this whole story about gentle parenting, where kids get to cuss you out and you just, oh, darling, I'm so sorry, constantly apologizing to your children. And that doesn't mean just the little ones, but the older ones too. Parents must stand their ground. You know right from wrong. See, as long as you're not living some wretched life and then asking the kid not to, as long as you're trying to live by example, you're supposed to share certain things that you know is going to be beneficial to your children in the long run. And if they're rebelling against that, that's not your problem. You still put down your rules. And when they get to a certain age where they're old enough and they don't want to abide by those rules, then they go on their own, plain and simple. So this gentle parenting have children who needs guidance to be dictating or determining the rules for the household. And listen, in Jamaica they say, "Me not depend that." Okay? In my household, kids were not allowed to watch no more than half an hour TV for the day. So when they come home from school, they'll be allowed half an hour to 30 minutes to an hour of TV and no more. And depending on how they're doing in school, they might not have any television until the weekend. And that was my rule, my hard and fast rule, because I have girls and I always try to tell them you have to have independence. You have to be able to take care of yourself. You have to be able to bring something to the table. And so I never raised my children to see a man as someone who they should go and just depend on. They have to pull their own weight. And that requires them to have a good job, good education. Nowadays I don't push the university thing like I used to, because there are a lot of young people out here with degrees and they have nothing. There are a lot of persons with degrees and they have no equity, they have no assets, they have none of that stuff. What I'm asking people to do is to have this business mindset. And also, if you have to start somewhere in a career, you build, but eventually, whatever career you venture into is something that you should be able to work independently on. When you go to university and you graduate, you should be able to start your own business. That's what education is for, to go there to learn how to be your own boss ultimately. So education is very important to me still, but I have taken a different approach. I'm not trying to push somebody going off to get an English degree or political science degree. What is that for? Are you going to teach it? So as a parent, I'm here to guide. And when my children were younger, I would think, oh, these are my friends, but they're not your friends. They're not your friends. When they're older and they start having children and a family of their own, then they can be your friends. But when they're young, they need your guidance. This gentle parenting bullshit is just the thing that is causing the whole world to turn upside down, because what we're doing is giving power to young ones who are looking for guidance. So much is changing in the world. Complete strangers telling you how to run your household, how to raise your children, what to see as red and what to see as white, and what is to see as up and down. It's just pure foolishness. I'm not even paying any attention to any of these ones. Then also, we get so consumed with all these negative things that are happening in the world. And I am not on that either. Me move from that. Okay. I am not trying to cloud my mind with who died and morbid pictures and who's saying what we. There's a lot of things I can change in this world as far as politics is concerned. And I'll just say my piece and move on. I'm not getting flustered with it. I'm not overwhelming myself with all. That's why, before I forget, that's why I don't have cable in my household. That's why I don't want news. I don't pay attention to these things. Once in a while, I'll touch a little article that might pop up that I see a bunch of people talking about and whatever, and I look into it. But I don't consume these things like I used to. Because what I want more than anything else is peace and tranquility. I don't want any other person to influence me, how I live my life, how I deal with my children, how I work in my relationship. I know people, complete strangers, don't get a chance to determine those things for me. No way. That's too much power to give to strangers. Love your children. Be nice. Be kind. But be firm. If they're going to be angry because you raised them right, then so let it be. Stop letting kids speak in your household like they're the ones who are paying the bills. They're the ones who are thinking. Again, they have a mind of their own. Yes, they deserve respect and love. Stay blessed.